Hey Sagittarius, how you be? Let's see what kind of vibe check we have possibly going for you for July of 2025, shall we? Okie dokie. So we have very interesting cards that have come out. First and foremost, I'm just going to put them in the stack and dig them as they come. First and foremost, we have the Ten of Swords. This is the end of a very painful cycle. When you see black backgrounds like that deep, dark night sky up above there, that's the dark night of the soul. It's been a lot of pain, and a lot of it has been internalized. I have a feeling that a lot of people have no idea what's been going on with you. Like, maybe they can tell when you're really, really upset, but for the most part, the things that you've been... Like, I think you've, like, taken one on the chin, turning the other cheek. Things like that are what's coming to mind. My problem with this card, Sagittarius fam, is at least one of these swords are self-inflicted. My favorite thing about this card, though, is here comes the sun. Do, 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 do. That is the end of a painful cycle, all right? Next up, we're going to jump suits to the Wands, following up with that Page of Wands. Look at that beautiful background that's just blank, like a canvas. And this page is looking at that wand like, whatever shall we do next? So there's a message coming in for you, possibly from someone younger than you, or you're embarking on something new that's very tied to your passions, that fire that is just burning within, right? Maybe there's something new that you've been trying, so you're feeling very much so like a novice, and you may be giving yourself a hard time some days, some moments. And you need to remember, like, you didn't just start this on a whim. You did some research first, okay? Like, calm down. Don't you be nice to yourself, all right? Please? Please? Okay. Third card. Who's the Queen of Pentacles? If I'm talking to some friends here, I know, but, right? Or is it you? This is someone who, the Queen and King of Pentacles are ruling such an incredible kingdom. I put her on par with the Empress. This is vibrant, loving, nurturing Empress energy, right? That, not necessarily alchemizing, but definitely manifesting like a magnet and drawing it to you. Very law of assumption. You know what I mean? Law of attraction. She's, you know, this kingdom is thriving. Everyone's fed. Everyone's heard. Everyone has their place and is able to just go to town. But that earth energy of the Pentacles can be very slow moving. This is being built up. You know, this is someone who has put in that time and effort, you know, realizing that we don't have to put in literal blood, sweat, and tears, right? Because that person has the red, but it's also like that orangey kind of conscious energy, you know what I mean? That's trying to come in. Oh, look at that. It's trying, fam, right? When you think of the divine masculine and feminine, you know, kings and queens and all that, the difference is internalized, you know, the thoughts, that care, that compassion, and the doing, that outward energy, right? That's why I'm saying, like, people may have no idea what's really going on underneath you, but they know that they can depend on you. They know that you're capable of empathy and compassion, and you're dependable, right? Sometimes to your own detriment, but there's that spark, that ever thirsty flame within you, Sagittarius, right? But there's also some pain. Because in the top row of 4, We have, it begins with the 10 of Swords and it ends with the 3 of Swords. Now, what's been coming up a lot with these July readings when I see this card, and just this is just what I think of when I see the 3 of Swords, is that's a lot of gray all around with that rain, right? And gray in the tarot, at least Rider-Waite-Smith, has a tendency to speak of neutrality, non-bias. To me, that speaks of old. This is very old pain, disappointments, deceit that you have experienced in the past and carried it with you. It became a part of you, a part of your decision making and such, right? This is what you still have to heal. This is what all these swords have been affecting all this time. And whatever this painful chapter has been, your heart, your ability to have it just open and, you know, take things in at whim or whatever. Like, it's made you a bit wary and inquisitive. But, like, who the heck are you? You know what I mean? Like, you know? So, coming up underneath the 10 of Swords, so that's that 4, right? Now, these 2 cards that we have left for what came out initially just kind of flopped on out of there. Begin with the 4 of Swords. That's a lot of sword action, fam. This person is kind of similar to the 8 of Pentacles and like getting away from the distractions and the sounds of other people's opinions. The, you know what you need to do, which has played its part in this, right? Shutting it out and remembering your opinions, your own thoughts, putting up the swords because the battle is done. But knowing that if anything were to come up, you still have this sword down here, fam. You still know how to handle things accordingly. All of this have been lessons learned. You're not someone who just lets everything just like, no, you're thirsty for that knowledge and such, right? This is meditation and remembering who you are, right? It gives mausoleum vibes, but think of the peace and serenity that's actually going on in cemeteries. That can be, right? Some people like cemeteries just because they're peaceful. You can read a book and not get fucked with. Who else is there? I mean, so then we come to the other card, which is I'm going to place underneath that Page of Wands. And we have our first major arcana, which is Capricorn, if I'm not mistaken, which comes up after Sagittarius, right? And that's the Devil card. Oops, shoots. YouTube. So we see this couple again that first appears in the Lovers card, right? But now they're chained up, or are they? Because even if you look at the chains, regardless of who drew it, whether it was Pamela or someone who built upon her idea, that chain down here is really slack, isn't it? Where's that camera so I can make sure? It's really slack there. They're not tugging on it. Shoots. Sorry, YouTube, please. Come on. But we have that black background again. These are all your bad habits, addictions, unhealthy ways of coping, unhealthy coping mechanisms. But it also speaks of this material realm. It's a very earth card. But with that Page of Wands above it, with the salamander tunic, is speaking to me of rising above, of having that, not just fortitude, that resiliency, that wisdom gained. You know, the swords are the mind, they're air, and the mind, wisdom gained to be able to rise above like a phoenix out of the ashes, right? and manifesting and drawing like a painter, creator into this physical realm, that which you do want, not the bullshit, what you do want, because you've been figuring that out. Your priorities have shifted recently. I know that for the Sagittarius that came to mind earlier is because he's a papa. Oh yeah, oh you have not only Gemini cards like coming into play. Wait, why did I say Gemini? Oh, because of the pentacle. She's a Gemini. You got this Virgo card showing up. Yes, it's just me, my bestie here. Oh dude, I don't know if I should apologize or what. No, but like in the best of ways, because while these can be very, very connected, I also feel like these two are connected because they have that devil energy between them. Actually, I should flip them for you for that perspective thing, because this is what I'm looking at, right? That's how they drew. First this, then this, then this. This hermit has ditched all the crap, the confusion, the illusions of this world, and left it behind and gone up to that mountain to figure out their soul, their own light, their own perspective, and what matters to them, their own priorities. And never ever forget that this inside of their lantern is actually the star, which is of it in and of itself its own major arcana. Those are your hopes and dreams. Sometimes it's that which is reminding you of what is meant to shine from within you, right? So this hermit has figured that out. They went up there and they figured it out, and there's that beautiful balance able to happen. All of that beautiful earth energy. I also feel like I'm being reminded of him specifically because someone really has a lot of has that connection to the earth, right? You know, that daily loving, tender care is sometimes the only medicine that's required. It's not only the best, it's because a lot of times it's the only medicine that's required. That preventative care, right? It doesn't have to be literal blood, sweat, and tears. And a lot of us have figured that out the hard way, regardless of when you were born, right? What's coming up underneath that Three of Swords, Sag? Did you hear that tap? We heal, we work through things, we release the past with love. In theory, it enables new things, new energy, a new chapter to come in. And, you know, you've made space for it, right? You've enabled it to not only open yourself up to receive, but to actually have room for it in your life. Now that you've gotten all the other crap out of the way, that doesn't matter. Now that your priorities have shifted. Divine gifts aplenty, my friend. Look at that garden. Here are some more golden seeds to plant in your garden. These are manifestations. So for someone, you need to be very careful about this pairing that's happening right here. Because if all you're thinking about is, if you're doing that, well, you know, I don't want to love, I don't want to do these things because all it's ever done is cause me pain. Even, what are you doing all this work for, fam? If you're still going to keep your mind wrapped up in the past has already happened. It's back there. Don't dwell. You know what I mean? We're not supposed to be dwelling about it. We're supposed to be processing and, you know, drawing that wisdom out of it, like this, you know, elder looking like Gandalf over here, right? Well, you're not Gandalf the Grey anymore, bud. You're Gandalf the White, if you so choose, right? Let go. It can't rain all the time. Let it go. Heal and plant new seeds. It's time for a new garden. It's time for that focus on new things. And this is what you want. Let's just keep going. This is encouragement. This is very, very encouraging, fam. What's the caboose? Okay. Okay, fire sign family. This card has officially come up in every single fire sign today. Every single one of them. That is the card of giving and receiving. That's the flow of life. Okay? That's where you need to be heading in, right? We're all at our different points in our journeys. There's that ability to be able to recognize where people are in their own journeys, right? Without judging them for it, without taking it to darker places that are just not necessary. Because not only does the moment not call for that, but you don't need that brewing. You know what I mean? You don't need that taste in your mouth. And you know it, right? Not only, like, so what if you're the one with the money? So what if anybody else is the one with the money? There's so many other ways that, you know, this person may be handing them the coins, but they're holding the scales as a reminder that these people help me all the time. They help me too. You know what I mean? Paying it forward doesn't have to be so literally in line at the freaking coffee stand. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't. There's so many ways that you were able to do that. So many ways that we're able to be there and support one another. I also feel the need to remind someone that you have a support system. You have people who aren't feeding you toxicity, who believe in you and who love you, and you have every right and privilege to tap into it, okay? You have like better and better and better skills of discernment. You know what applies to you and what simply doesn't. Trust that. This is a great time in your life to be able to recognize that you can trust that and revel in it. That's a part of your privilege, right? All right, what's underneath? Oh, wow. Of all cards to be on the bottom of the deck, someone may have some really difficult decisions going on that you don't even know. You don't even know. But this is speaking on new beginnings. This is that reminder that you need to let go of those things, whether it's actual trauma or disappointments, or whatever that pain is that's been dwelling and festering in your heart, in your life. I like to refer to it as the never again card, but there's different ways that it can go. So that's my question to you. Is it a matter of all of that pain and stuff getting in the way of you being able to make that decision and needing to be reminded that not doing anything about it is still making a decision? It's dropping the ball, and you did that. You know what I mean? As example, or is it, I've learned so much from that crap. Never again. I can't see you because I can smell your bullshit coming from a mile away, and you can't even access me anymore. They know all that turbulent water is behind them. That's where it belongs, behind them. So protected and guided by intuition in this chapter. Moving on. Right? Yeah. So which is it, fam? What one resonates with you, huh? Let's go ahead and move on to the Moonology deck. It's a brand new deck of mine. I love it. I love it so, so much. I've been wanting it for a long time. What are the moon cards? Okay. What are the moon cards that can really help Sagittarius fam right about now for July of 2025? What's the kind of advice that we want to give our Sagittarius fam for July? Jeez Louise. Okay, well, that was a lot. So we have the blue throat chakra being represented. We have that tealish turquoise, I say teal, of right in between that and the heart, that high heart kind of chakra. But we also have a blue with a Gemini throat and purple. Purple and indigo. Okay, sorry. So we have full moon in Libra with a win-win outcome is forecast. And then what fell out, first and foremost, the answers you need are coming. Thanks, Gemini. Full moon in Gemini. Then nothing is yet set in stone. We have a mutable moon. Right? Things are changing. Your priorities have shifted. Trust. Believe in the impossible. With blue moon, that rare opportunity that only comes about once in a blue moon. On the bottom, that indigo and purple for the third eye and the crown chakra, a time for healing. The balsamic moon. Yes, thank you. A time for healing indeed. Okay, so there's something again, we have the balance, the scales being represented. Remember that balance, okay? Libra is a sign for balance and fairness. I have my rising sign is Libra, my Venus is Libra, my Mars is Libra, my frickin' Pluto is Libra. The first time I did my chart, I was laughing. I was like, there we go. There's all that balance. I need balance. Fair is fair. Doesn't have to be in my favor for it to be fair. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Just be true to yourself. Handle things, you know, be cognizant with your words, because the sword's a double-edged, fam. Don't let that tongue be a viper's tongue. Can your words think before you speak? Be very cognizant of that, because you are able to affect others. And you need to be able to hold yourself accountable on that one, okay, friend? Because the answers you need are coming. All right? So even, I feel like there's something familial about that. Something to do with your family. Something about your family. The answers are coming. And then these are my first times pulling mutable moon and blue moon. So let's go ahead and bust out the deck. Or bust out the book. I'm kind of just going with the vibe because I've read the others before. But these ones are new. So let's go ahead, right? Mutable is all about change, shape-shifting even. That something is still developing. This card indicates that something is indeed changing and there's room for maneuver. So take it as a sign that the situation you're asking about is far from finalized. If you're not, but it's coming to fruition. It's coming to fruition, fam. This is the end of a cycle. If you're not happy with the current state of play, that's marvelous. It means you can still change the course of the outcome. However, there is also a sense that the situation could perhaps be a little unstable. For some, this is great news because you can still influence it. Others will struggle with the uncertainty, but should stay with it a little longer. Either way, nothing is set in stone yet. So an affirmation to keep in mind is, I know that the best will unfold for me. I know that the best always unfolds for me. So additional meanings are things like you're meandering towards your goal, and that's okay. or staying adaptable is the key to success for you now. Or make sure you're not being led astray. You're certainly trying. You're certainly trying to not be led astray this round. Have you become distracted? Time to focus. That was also a point for Aries. So, in astrology, there are 3 so-called quadruplicities. Say that 10 times fast. Cardinal, fixed, and mutable. The mutable signs are Gemini, Sagittarius, Virgo, and Pisces. I kept talking about Virgo and Gemini, didn't I? Yes, I did, fam. And when the moon is in one of these signs, you know there's going to be more flexibility in a situation. Anytime you pull this card, it suggests there's the opportunity to keep visualizing and affirming what you want, as there's still room for change. So think about what you want and enjoy the daydream, you know? Keep in mind that if you're not happy with things the way it's going, good, because change is coming in, right? And then we have blue moon. So I want you to believe in the impossible. As the saying goes, some things happen only once in a blue moon. In other words, hardly ever. Drawing this card suggests you're about to get a rare chance, and that something one-off could well be about to happen. This card is a very positive sign. If you felt like you're hoping for too much or asking too much of the universe, whatever you are asking about, well, it might only happen once in a blue moon, but it can happen. However, with this rare opportunity before you, it's important that you believe in it. If you convince yourself that whatever you're asking about can never go in your favor, then guess what? It won't go in your favor. Be grateful for this card, which is a reminder to believe in your dreams. And the affirmation for this one is nice and simple. I am lucky. Additional meanings: miss this chance and it might not come back anytime soon. What happened may only happen once. The person you're inquiring about is a rare find. If you can believe it, you can achieve it. This situation is unlikely to repeat. So there are usually 3 full moons between each equinox and solstice, and vice versa. Sometimes, though, we get 4 full moons in a single season. And when that happens, the third of the season's 4 full moons is called a blue moon. At least that was the original definition of a blue moon. These days it's popular to use the blue moon for a second full moon in any calendar month that has 2 full moons. We're getting it? Okay, moving on. Moving on. Bam. So remember that your voice is very important too, but so is being able to hear the other person. Remember that there's so much knowledge and intuition that are possible, and just tune into yours, tap into yours, take care of yours. You know, consider it like a muscle. You know what I mean? There's so much that you've learned that is able to provide that wisdom for you to know what to do. So as your priorities are shifting, just remember to believe in yourself. Not only believe in the impossible, because for you, it is possible. So believe in yourself, okay? And I will remind you of that as often as you can need me to, okay? Yeah. Okay, fam. Thank you so much for keeping me company in this reading. The whole thing. You watched the whole thing. I appreciate you. And always remember, I believe in you.